Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to wonderful listeners of Edusa, that is Education Students Association, and wonderful listeners from the University of the Gambia. This is your Edusa hour that comes your way on Fine TV every weekday on Sundays, usually at 5 o'clock. But today we have a very important program, fascinating ones for that matter. I would say two programs in one. That is to say, the gentlemen you are seeing in front of you, the aspiring candidates for the Edusa election 2023. They are vying for different positions from different camps, but then all geared towards making Edusa great, which is the Education Students Association. Now, this debate is organized to give them the platform to sell out their agenda, to tell us the policies they have in store, the policies they want to actually help Edusans to be great once again. So, without wasting any more time, I'll introduce the gentlemen, or allow them to do so from their own intelligence and from their own wisdom as candidates who are very much valued as students of the Education Student Association and also as students of the university. Now, I have on my right-hand side Mr. Honorable Edusa, who is currently the Deputy Secretary General of the 13th Executive Council of Education Students Association. He is vying for the position of Secretary General under the placard of Team Renaissance, which is a team in Education Students Association. Now, he is going to tell us his policies, the reason why we, the students of School of Education, should actually give him our votes come November 15th, which is the election date scheduled by the Electoral Commission of Edusa. I also have Mr. Keba S. Juara, who is called the Panacea poet, who is very much known in the school as Panacea. He is going to tell us more about himself and why we should actually vote him as the Secretary General come November 15th, when Edusans will go on polls to elect different candidates from the different camps on different positions or in different positions. So Mr. Keba S. Juara will also take us through the reasons why we should actually vote him by giving us his policies and also defending them to make sure we are enticed and also believe that he is the right candidate for that particular position. Without wasting any more time, you all understand that Secretary General position is not a child play. It's a very important position. It's very important, likewise, any other position in this particular election that is coming up. So I'll allow them to introduce themselves, as it is sweeter to hear from the horse's mouth than actually putting it forward. So, Mr. Honorable Edusa, we start with you. Can you tell us who Honorable Edusa is?
Good afternoon, viewers, and thank you very much, Honorable Lamin Sane, the dispatch man I normally call him, one of the most proactive IPROs that Edusa has ever gotten. And thank you, Fine TV, for hosting us. As you have said, I am Edusa, presently the Deputy Secretary General of Edusa, a third-year second semester student, majoring in history and minoring in English language in the School of Education. I am also the Secretary General of the Student Scholarship Task Force that encompasses those on the MOA Scholarship, those on the MRC Scholarship, and those on the MOPSI Scholarship. I am also President and Secretary General of the University of the Gambia History Society. As an Edusan, I believe I am well known by all Edusan. Thus gives me the title Alcalo of Edusa. Since my first semester, I have been engaging and interacting with issues concerning Edusans and Edusa, both at the authority levels and both at the student levels. I think that has given me the green light to presently serving the position that I'm serving. So that's just an introduction of who I am.
Thank you very much, Honorable Edusa. We'll come back to you. That's a very brief introduction. So we now move on to the Panacea, who is Keba S. Juara. to also tell us who he is, just a synopsis of yourself.
Good evening, beautiful listeners. Good evening, the management of Fine TV. Good evening, Honorable Lamin Sane, the IPRO of Education Students Association. Good evening to our beautiful listeners out there. I want to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh to each and every one of you. It's indeed a pleasure to be here to defend our policies, the policies upon whose background, upon whose backdrop we feel we are eligible to take this position, to take the mantle of the pen pusher of Education Students Association. As he said, I am Keba S. Juara. I am a third year education student studying English language and minor in agricultural science. Going down the trajectory of my records, I have handled so many secretariat positions which I have already outlined to the students in my declaration of intent, but nonetheless it will be necessary to say a few of these. The most recent, and of course the one that I mostly pride myself with, is the Secretary General of the Young Writers Association of the Gambia, where we registered so many successes. I am also the Secretary General of Panacea Football Club and Association in Farado, that has rendered so many community services, including providing a water borehole and also, clearing and filling potholes on our ways. And I have served as the Social Secretary of Agricultural Science Students Association of the Gambia College. Today, I want to call on the education students to give me the platform, to give me the stage, to give me the mantle to mount this position to serve them as the Secretary General of this association, in order to give my expertise to them, to help them grow, to help them realize what is the greater benefit of everybody. So I am indeed happy and grateful to be here. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you very much, honorable members. Hopefully, this is going to be a fascinating program, which we are all going to enjoy. And I thank you all for answering the call. And also, as they rightly outlined, Fine TV is a friend, Fine TV is an associate. And for that being the case, we thank you very much always for giving us this platform to sell our agenda. Now, Honorable Bireso, we start. What is actually interesting and very important about Honorable Bireso that we, the students of Education Students Association, should actually look into and also give you the position of Secretary General come November 15th.
Thank you very much. A very, interesting question for that matter. Yeah. To justify that, I believe that, that's an open secret to everyone. What must have fascinated the education students to give me their vote. Because what I have been relevant to these education students is known to everyone. Since my fourth semester, I have been rendering service to education students. I could recall in my first semester, I have started tutoring English 101, English 102, and some of the educational courses. It does not always stop there, but I have also helping education students individually on their academic work. Besides that, also I have been helping education students also on their personal issues, like when they have issues with the faculty office, issues with the authorities. In most cases, I intervene because I'm somebody that is very open. I am open to the student. I'm also open to the authorities. Some people will always tell me that the faculty office is your second home because I'm always there. So that's why when they ask, some of them, if I will not even directly consult the faculty office, they will consult me to give them advice on how to go by it. So that's something that, of course, justifies that point that, of course, they have every leverage to give me their vote. And personally, I'm serving as the Deputy Secretary General of the 13th Executive Council of Edusa, which is in history the most successful council that Edusa has ever gotten. That one is obvious. This is the council that have registered successes that Edusa has never registered. And I'm serving in the secretariat And we all know how important the secretariat is in every association. It is the administrative head of the association. It is the principal administrative correspondent of the association. So we pioneered every administrative work. And you have seen I have served as Deputy Secretary General of that council. So I will know how to solve problems. History teaches us that if you don't know how problems were solved, if you don't know how it was done, you will not know how it will be done. So I have already have the institutional memory. I know how it was done. So automatically I will know how it will be done. The secretariat is not a place of trial and error. It's not a place where you will go and learn what's supposed to be done. It's a place where you will go and you execute your expertise. And as the present Secretary General of Edusa, I already have the expertise. I already have all it takes to know how things should be done in the next council. It's just a continuation. Because we are in the council. You know what I have been doing. You know what we have been doing. So if Edusans have every, every reason to give nobody their vote but to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is very much clear. It has started. So that is Honorable Biroso for you, the current serving Deputy Secretary General. So the panacea, KYS Juara, you've heard what Honorable Biroso rightly outlined, that he is the right candidate. What do you have to dispute about this particular claim?
Thank you very much. As the saying goes, this give the job to his friend. If you pay attention to what everybody is saying and what the reality is, secretariat job is for those who are of faith with the pen. When I got my admission to the University of the Gambia, then classes were done online. But before people could see my face, they have already seen my write-ups. So I think the pen is my friend. The pen is my strength. The pen is what I rely on. The pen is everything to me. I have been doing everything with the pen. So if you need to give secretariat job to somebody, you should give it to somebody who is a friend of the pen. Secondly, this secretariat job is nothing new to me. It does not matter whether I have not served in the 13th Executive Council of Edusa. I know what it takes to be a secretary, and I have been successful, so much prolific and productive in the Young Writers Association of the Gambia, in the Panacea Association and Football Club of Farado. We've registered so many successes through my leadership. So I believe if you definitely are looking for somebody who is competent enough, somebody who knows how to do this, somebody who can write a letter for you in the very second you ask him to write, like even right now, you or even Honorable Bire can ask me right now to write a letter to anybody. I do not have to take a pen. I can dictate the whole letter to you because I have the expertise. I have been writing letters. I have served as an English teacher for over half a decade. So I have the expertise. I believe with my expertise, with what I have done in the past, I can take Edusa to another level. I was one time thinking of this. What would inspire me to come and be the Secretary General of the Education Students Association? It feels like somebody who has already slaughtered a cow at home for his dinner, but is also struggling with little boys on a disc in a hole to add to the meat. It looks like somebody who is very greedy to come and add something else to what you already have and even more. But then I thought of this, no. Education Students Associations serving this association is not the place where I am going to use as a stepping stone. It's not a place to enrich my CV. This is where I am supposed to exhibit. This is where I am supposed to give people all the expertise that I have been gathering all along. So I believe when I am voted in, I will give you all the trainings that I had in the other places. This is why I believe I am the right person for the job. Anybody you ask, they tell you the Panacea knows how to deal with the pen. Nobody can deny that. It has to do with everything. Whether it's creative writing or professional writing, the Panacea is the right man for the job. Thank you.
Okay, it's getting hot and then nicer. So the listeners, you can be your own judge for whatever is said here. So we move on to the next question. This time around, we'll start with Keba S. Juara. Keba, what is your strength as an aspiring SG that we should actually look into and then get to the position?
Thank you very much. I think I've already stated it. The pen is my strength. That is my weapon. It is everything. that I have. With the pen, I can execute the functions, the roles and duties of a Secretary General to the fullest. In fact, if there is anything to go beyond the fullest, I will do it. Just like I always say, when people tell me after my write-ups, when I write and give people, they tell me the sky is the limit. Sometimes I tell them, no, I want to pursue myself beyond the sky. Everybody is saying the sky is the limit. The sky would not be my limit. So if there is anything else to do with the pen, the panacea is the man to do it for you. So I believe the pen is my strength. I believe my voice is my strength. I believe my expertise, the experience that I have gathered in the past years are my strength. So with these, you don't need anything else to add on to yourself to become the Secretary General of any association.
Thank you. So that's clear. He said the pen is his strength. Honorable Dreso, you've heard Keba S. Juara. He said the pen is his strength. What is your strength as an aspiring SG for Edusa?
Thank you very much. I think the pen is everybody's strength, like I myself. The way he writes is the way I can write. But when it comes to what he does not understand is that Secretariat is not only about writing. Secretariat does more about administrations than writing. And the writing is not about fixity of writing. It's not about fictional writing. It's not about writing poems. It's about professional writings. Let him differentiate those things. Yes, my strengths are not one, are not two, are not three. There are many. Yes, I have told you since my coming to the university, I have been involved in Edusa activities. That since my since my first semester, and presently I'm serving as the Deputy Secretary General. Yeah, he is saying that like it's not important for you to serve in the council for you to be a better Secretary General. I think there is some mismatch there. Yes, it's important to have the institutional memory of the institution. And Keba here, I think he is making a mistake because he has been away from the university for a year or more. He is personally aware of most of the things that Edusa, the council, is facing. He doesn't know most of the developments that the council has made, most of the challenges that the council is facing. And as a Secretary General, the administrative correspondent of the council, you should be familiarized with such a thing. So when you are not aware of those things, you will come in, try to learn those things. Before you understand it, time is gone. So what will you run to the episodes? It's better, I think, to give it to people who are already in the system. They understand the system, and they have been solving problems. They have been manipulating, interacting with issues for them just to continue. Than give it to somebody who will come and start learning. I have told you, the Secretariat is not a place of trial and error. It's not a place where you come and learn to be perfect. Before perfection comes, time has gone. It's not like that. So my strength is already there. I have the institutional memory. I have the connectivity, both within the university and outside the university. I have been spearheading solving student scholarship issues, most especially those on the massive scholarship. I have been meeting the PS, meeting the ministers, meeting the deputy PS. We have been going to NRC. We have been going to MOHAS. So the connection is already there. So before you bring in somebody who does not have that connection, before that person will try to reconnect himself, time has gone. So what will you offer to the educators? So I have the institutional memory, I have the connection already. So these are my strengths. And for the pen, that's our strength, all of us. When I write, you cannot edit it. That's a matter of. So the pen is our strength, all of us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So you put this clarification before we move on. That is to say, in Edusa, we do have what we call the convention day or the convention night, possibly. So here, the actual reason for this program is to defend our policies. We can call it debate, but then basically it will be a policy debate sort of where you defend your policies and then tell us why you are the right candidate. So we will reserve all the other debates for the convention so that there the fast and fast can actually take place as it should be. So Keba S. Juara, you've heard what Honorable BSO said. That is to say, here, when it comes to being a Secretary General, it does not mean you just have to be good at writing. It's not all about that. Can you please, on your own part, what do you have to add on to that? You subscribe to that or not?
Yes, thank you very much. I think my boss has some issues with what I have said earlier. I am somebody with administrative experience. I served as Secretary General, and I have said, though people mostly know me with my creative writing, but of course I have served as an administrative officer, administrative head, and administrative officer in the associations that I have served as Secretary General. The Young Writers Association of the Gambia has gone through thick and thin to create partnerships, to negotiate MOUs with so many other institutions and partners all around the Gambia. So, we as the leaders have to be present. I personally have been to the PS so many times. He knows me. That is no doubt. I only wish he can watch this to testify. We have been in his office. We have worked with him. Last year, we invited him to our program and he answered to us. We interacted with him for 2 good days. So he knows us. I have been going out. When it is the others, the elders, the Writers Association of the Gambia, I have been with them. You want to talk about the UN, I have been working with them. Through our intention to promote readership in the Gambia, writing in the Gambia, we have been to UNDP. We have worked with and partnered with all this in order to improve writing. So yes, if it comes to institutional experience, administrative experience, the Panacea has the experience. Now, the point is when I write professional write-ups, I do not have to share them out for people to see. That does not mean I do not have the experience. It is there. When you talk about the institutional memory, what then is the essence of reports if it is not to give people what have transpired in the past tenure? So, of course, I have offended myself with what has been going on in the university. Yes, I have been away for 1 year. It is destiny. Nobody could control it. I was struggling on my own to pay my tuition fees, but then I could not. And then I was kicked out to go to the provinces. Then I deferred. Of course, but I've been following the activities. And then using that as an argument to push me out of this lane is not, substantiable at all. You cannot depend on it at all. Because where was Donald Trump before becoming the president of the United States? He never served a government role at all. Where was Adama Barrow of the Gambia? He was never even a deputy. Never. Let alone a minister, let alone a parliamentarian. He was never there. He just came out from the blue and he is there. So you do not have to use that. I have been in Edusa. I can remember serving under the Ministry of Education, the Students Association's education, I've served there. I worked with August until his tenure ended. I started serving with you until they told me that an active student is the only one who is allowed to work with the ministry. That was when I was out. But then at the beginning I was working and I have been following. And then I have the memories of all what have been going on. So using that, let me just say this. I just want to keep my arguments short. If you are saying you have the institutional memory, that is why you are the right man for the job, I think you shouldn't have brought that up in the presence of Keba S. Juara. Because what were you doing and not being able to achieve whatever you are trying to give us while serving as the Deputy Secretary General? If I were a Deputy Secretary General, trust me, I will never want to come out to be the Secretary again. Because whatever I could have done, I would do it. Whatever I believe should be done, I would have done it during my tenure as the Deputy Secretary General. If I am unable to do that then that means I cannot achieve it. Staying too long in a place is not good. Honestly speaking, I will want to reserve some things for the convention, but you cannot serve as an Assistant Secretary General and want to use that to kick somebody out when your ideas have been floating inside and they have not been able to reach a certain level. Or if they have been able to reach a certain level, then that is what you can do. Now give chance to fresh brains to come in and take a new dimension in order to take the people to the place everybody is dreaming of.
Policy debate, Edusa election 2023. That is what is transpiring on Fine TV, as you can rightly see, and they are getting deep into the program to make sure we hear from these great intellectuals who are in front of you. That is Honorable Bireso and then Keba S. Juara, who is fondly called Panacea. So, Honorable, we understand that the Secretary General, one can say, is the engine of the council. That is to say, the Secretary General has the organizational leadership to make sure the council is actually operating as it should be. Now, what are some of the policies, or what are some of the strategies that you have in play to move your secretariat to be great, even better than the current Secretary General's secretariat, who is no other person but S. Boja?
Thank you very much. Just before I start, I just want to respond to some of the points that he has said.
Okay.
Yes, he is good, but I'm the best when it comes to secretariat. All the activities he has said that he has been doing is outside the university, and it has no impact on the Edusans. What is the focus here is the Edusans. What impact do you have on the Edusans? You know, history warns us that if somebody promises you something, let the person tell you what he has already done for you before you will bestow your hopes on him. There is it. So what he is saying like that, I have already served as Deputy Secretary General, you should have tried to decode. Deputy, I'm assistant. The policies that we are doing are not my policies. I was just assistant. So here I'm coming as a full-fledged Secretary General. So you are making a wrong comparison. Make sure you come back again. So here you have said it. The Secretariat is the engine of the council. When it fails, the council fails. That's why it needs a committed somebody, a dedicated somebody, a proactive somebody, somebody who is committed, and somebody who has been interacting with authorities. Yes, he said he has been interacting with authorities, but it is his own issues or issues outside Edusa. But here, all my interaction with authorities was for Edusans. So my everything is Edusa. Edusans will tell you that. So the secretariat, as you have said, yes, is one of the, in fact, is the engine of every association. That's why we have seen even the UN, the biggest organization in the world is administrative headed by the Secretary General. Because when the Secretary fails, institution will fail. So as the Secretary General, my policies are what I want to do to have the best secretariat in Edusa. I design it in line with the function of the Secretary General as stipulated in section 15. And one of them is strengthening partnership with stakeholders. Yes, we are in the council. You know very well how our partners help. Edusa normally has action plans that it will want to execute within a particular period of time. To execute those plans, it needs both financial support and also material support. For example, if you want to conduct nationwide talk, Edusa cannot do it alone. It must get the financial support somewhere. This is why it is necessary for us to collaborate, to have the partnership with outsiders like MOPSI, like MOHAS, like National Youth Council, and like other institutions. I will thank the President Council for stretching its arms and making so many partnerships. But when I come, I will make more partnership. So the other policy that I have is sustenance. Yes, it's one thing to register success, but another thing to sustain those success. This is what we call sustainable development. If the President Council has registered successes, because they have registered successes that no council has ever registered, both financially and materially. You have seen it. They have procured assets, 15 computers, a podium that we used to rent, a PA system that we used to rent, cooking utensils that we used to rent. They have procured all those things. So I'm saying when I come, through my administrative mechanism, I'll make sure that those developments, those achievements are sustained and also will make other achievements. So the other policies, though I have up to 10 policies, but I've been not able to buttress all of them here. Maybe the convention will serve a better time for that. I also make sure that as the administrative head of the council, I will prepare a comprehensive action plan. Because in the constitution, it says that when the council is elected, before 30 days into office, it should submit a comprehensive action plan of the council to the legislative council for them to scrutinize it and also to approve it. I will make sure that 2 weeks into office, I will challenge all ministries to submit the action plan to me for finalization and also for submission to the legislative council for approval. I also make sure that as mandated in section 15 of the Edusa Constitution, I will prioritize education issues. And I will do this by using my powers that vested in me to be preparing minutes for meeting. The Secretary General is mandated by the Constitution to prepare agendas for meetings. In every meeting that we have, I will include in the agendas burning issues about educational matters affecting the students. Because we are in the university because of education. So educational matters to be prioritized. Grade issues, poor grades, things like that. Necessarily in any meeting, I will incorporate issues that has to do with education. This is also, I'm not saying the president has not done it, but I will do it and it will be more effective. I will also make sure that every minutes of every meeting is being kept until it is needed. Among my policies also is to have an up-to-date list of all the students in the School of Education. This would help in solving issues like class size problems and others. I will also make sure that I do a quarterly review of the activities of the council. Yes, when we have our activities that we are to implement within 1 year, I will make sure that every 3 months I will review our activities. How far have we gone in implementing our activities? That will help us in pinpointing our weaknesses and also our strengths. And when we know our weaknesses, they will know how to go by it. So I will make sure I will do a quarterly review of our activities. I will also make a quarterly review of council members' attendance. Yes, council members will be attending every activities of the council. I will make sure that every 3 months I will make a review of their attendance. And every council member who is short of the required percentage of attendance, you will be seriously warned and you will be prevail open to do as it is stated in the Constitution. This is also one of my policies. My other policy also has to do with creating a database. Section 15, subsection 8 of the Edusa Constitution said that the Secretary General should support in creating a database for the Council. I will make sure that I will support to create a database for the Council or a data bank. And my other policy has to do with taking part in project identification. Yes, it is a constitutional dictate for the Secretary General to make sure that the Secretary General take part in project identification, writing research proposal. Yes, what especially projects that will earn resources for the Council. Yes, because all the other ministries, they cannot implement their activities without the intervention of the Secretary General. If the Education and Research Ministry wants to embark on project, the Secretary Council has to intervene. If the Culture and Welfare Ministry has to intervene in any project for fundraising, the Secretary General has to intervene. The Finance Minister, the same thing, because the Secretary General is the one that writes consent notes, that writes donation letters, and that writes all communication issues between the Council and other institutions. So these are just some of my policies, but all of them will be had during the contents.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have, sorry for that, we've already had lots of policies mentioned by Honorable Direso. Now we move on to Kebayes Buara. You also want to tell us the policies you have in store for us and the reasons why we should actually vote you in as the Secretary General.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable. I believe some of the policies have overlapped. This is due to the provisions of the Constitution. If you want to go by the Constitution, the dictates of the Constitution, the requirements of the Constitution, the things that the Constitution is demanding from you, and draw the policies from these are going to be basic things that are required of you. If you do not present them, then that is like you are being negligent of your duties. This is something that you are supposed to do that you are not doing. So I would want to keep it short. I would not want to talk about the things that are expected of me. For instance, talking about keeping records, identifying project proposals. Of course, it is part of my plans. It is part of my policies to identify projects, to identify trainings, to identify areas that we can go into, to create a concept note, a proposal that we can bring out to specific stakeholders to aid the council in getting itself to the next level. So when I am voted in, firstly, just as demanded by the Constitution, which is of course the law given in a book of the Constitution, I will make sure I also ask all the ministers to bring in their action plans, the things that they want to give to the people, the things that they want to achieve within the specific time frame of their entire tenure and their short-term plans for the association. So, but these are things that I believe are expected, so no need to talk about them. A specific policy that I want to give to my people is collaborating with the Education Ministry and the Information Ministry to bring what we will call a magazine for the education students. We know there are so many people in the Education Students Association who have the talent of writing. We have people who have the passion to write. They want to marry the pen. They want to give people out what they have inside their hearts. So we want to give them the platform. The university should have a magazine. But if we cannot start with the main union, at least the Education Students Union should have a magazine. This will feature articles that are written by our own students. So we can give a ready-made market to our people. This will feature poems. This will feature activity reports, the periodic activity reports. Of course, what Edusa have achieved in the past, let's say 5 weeks, in the past 3 months, for example. And we can put this out as a periodic report to the people. So the general student body can look at this and bring out their ideas. Sometimes somebody in the general membership can have better ideas than people who are serving inside. Some people do not want to come out, but then when this is given to them, they can bring in their ideas. Everybody would be updated. So we want to have a magazine that will feature the works of education students. That is one of my plans. Now, another thing, of course, is to look for ways, find ways through which education students can spread their tentacles to even far and wide, even beyond the Gambia, just like we have done for my association, the Young Writers Association of the Gambia. We have created a partnership with the Pan-African Writers Association, which is an entire continental association. We have gone all the way to the United States. Of course, there are people who have published one of my works in the United States, Atlanta, Georgia. The International Association of African Authors and Scholars. I want to thank them very much for all that they have been doing for us. So I would want us to extend our tentacles outside. Let us go far and wide in different ways so we can help education students go further. Let's say, for example, every semester we know there are education students who drop out. Not drop out, but at least defer their programs so they can prepare and get some more money to come back. When I come in, now I am not going to do this alone. I will work with the education minister and other ministries, the finance, and whoever is going to be needed in this work. So we identify certain institutions, certain organizations, certain associations that can help us do something for these people. Let's say, for example, we know somebody or an organization or a corporation or whatever that can provide, even if it is going to be a semesterly scholarship for our student. So if we have somebody who definitely needs these funds in order to continue, in order not to go outside, just like what happened to me, I lost a full year outside, and everybody knows that I am definitely qualified to be in the university to continue my education. Now, ST said, who feels it knows it. I know how it feels to defer a program, seeing your mates going over there. So I would want to identify people, identify organizations, identify associations that we can write these project proposals to, prepare the concept notes, which I am very ahead with. I've written the concept note for the national storytelling, which was approved by the Ministry of tourism and culture under the Tourism and Culture's National Center for Arts and Culture. We staged it last year. We together, our association, worked on the concept note of the Kuntakinte International Book Festival. So you can see, I have this expertise already. All I need is you people to give me the platform to come and do it for you. So we are going to make sure education students are heard whilst they are sitting at home. I want our people to be seen on international platform. That is why when I was writing that article for the International Association of African Authors and Scholars in the United States, I identified myself as a university student of the Gambia. I did not want to associate myself with even the Young Writers Association, which gave me the privilege to go there. Why did I do that? Because I want these people to know that the education students have talent. But then if we have it as ourselves, controlling the production and the distribution of these, then it will be better. So I want to give a platform. Let us have a magazine that will produce what Edusans are, bringing out, what they are explaining out. I have other policies actually, but then as this is, let's say, semi-finals. So when we go to the conventions, some of these policies will come, but I would not want to talk about the things that are generally expected of me. I want to talk about things that nobody is seeing, things that will come out from the blue and deliver us to the promised land. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we have a session that we'll actually move on to. Usually politicians will tell you, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. Now the how of doing those things is what we are going through. Now we'll move on to Keba. We'll now start with you. Keba, Esquire, you made mention of having a magazine by working with the Education Ministry. Now I want you to tell me the how of doing this. How are you going to make sure there's a magazine? You have 3 points that you've outlined. There is partnership with the outside world and also solving deferment issues, having students deferring their semesters. Now you want to tell us the how of doing all these things. But first we start with the magazine. How are you going to make sure that this magazine is actually something that will happen during your tenure if voted in as the Secretary General?
Thank you very much, Honorable Sane. As a published author, I know how these processes work. But then let me just give you a breakdown. First of all, when I come in as the Secretary General, I would be the gateway of the association. To put it short, I would be the person through whom everybody from outside will reach the association, and I will be the gateway to the outside. So when I come in, I will collaborate with the Education Ministry and the Information Ministry to open submissions for all writers in the association. Let everybody who thinks he has something in mind, anybody who has something in heart that he wants to say, let them come and write them down and submit them to the association's ministries. Whether it is going to be the Information Ministry, or it is going to be the Education Ministry, or it is going to be directly to myself, or we are going to create a board that is going to oversee this matter. So when we receive all these submissions, then we are going to arrange them in order. So we will have our Education Minister, we will have our Information Minister and the Secretary General to have certain people who will review these works and make sure they are fit for public consumption. And then we will, of course, contact, that's why collaboration is in my work. Like, we are going to partner with designers. We are going to partner with graphic designers, graphic workers. So we will make sure these people, as part of their role in our collaboration, to make the design of these magazines for us. So when they prepare this, and then we can have them printed. Of course, we can also have partnership with printing houses. So we can print them at a lower rate whilst promoting their printing house. So we do for them and they also do for us. When this is done, then we can release this out, and then the education students can have this magazine with them. But then we are not going to give it out for free. Although we are not going to sell it at an exorbitant price, but we are not going to give it out for free. So when these people buy these magazines, it is going to bring in revenue for our people. So this is one way I want to promote, writing in our institution. As I've always been, even though I was not directly working under Edusa as a minister or under Edusa as an assistant minister or whatsoever portfolio, but I have been working towards the education of this country. If you look at all my works, whatever I have been going on, I never left the educational scene. Though I was doing it on national level, but it was still education. So now I want to come down and directly deal with the education students.
Thank you. So that point is clear. We'll come back to you with the other areas that you've made mention of. Honorable Bire, you also made mention of one of the clauses of Section 15 as the clause that is rightly dealing with the functions of Secretary General. You made mention of the database, that is making sure that there is a database or data bank where information will be kept. So, would you want to tell us to how this is going to be done actually from your own part as the Secretary General?
Okay, thank you very much. But before I deal with that, I just want to make some clarification. You know, yes, we are all politicians. We want to entice the Edusans as much as possible, but we also have to be realistic. There are certain things that we are saying we cannot do it. Issue of trying to cope the issue of deferment, getting scholarship for Edusans. These are things that we have to be very realistic in what we are saying. We have to be very realistic. Okay. And also, if you go outside your constitutional function, there is likelihood that you may step in the function of other minister. The issue of a magazine could be more suitable to the information ministry or the Ministry of Education and Research. Secretary proposes this administration. I think there is some conflict there. Yes, coming to the database, it is constitutional in that section 15 that if you look at section 15, one of the sections says that the secretary should create a database for their affairs. This database or data bank includes like trying to have the details of all the education students, their names, mark numbers, major and minors, year of starting, year expected to finish, even if possible, where they are on the scholarship, which scholarship are they under, and also if they are on the scholarship, all those things should be included, and that should be kept. This is what I mean by database or data bank. Yes, this is what I mean by database or data bank.
Okay.
Yes. So personally, Yaya has it, but it's very late before he created it. So when I come, we will just maintain it and also adjust on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So you also made mention of project identification. Would you tell us some of the projects you want to identify under your purview?
Yeah, thank you. Let me just give you an example. When we are going to the nationwide tour, we have a team promoting TVEC education. So that was the team, and we wrote a concept note. It was a project, of course, because we wrote a concept note of it. That concept note was not a child play concept note. When it was submitted to MOFSI, it enticed them to the extent that they financed the entire nationwide tour. So it was not a child play concept note. So I'm saying, if Edusa is going to embark on any activity like nationwide tour, Edusa Week, or any of the ministries here want to embark on a particular project for resource mobilization, we will give them support. That's why the section says the secretary should help or should take part, not like should do it alone, but should take part in project identification. So we'll do it in collaboration with the ministry concerned. If the Ministry of Finance wants to embark on fundraising and we are to write project, a concept or whatsoever to guide the activity, this is what we are trying to say.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll come back to you. So, Kebais Juara, you also made mention of partnership with the outside world. How would this, actually happen from your end as the Secretary General?
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable. It's all about looking at your action plan, the things that you want to acquire, the things what you want to achieve within the given time of your tenure. So let's say, for example, we want to have the magazine that I have just mentioned. Now, he said that is directly under the information ministry or whatsoever. If you pay attention, how many times did I mention the information ministry? Now, when we call it a ministry, it means it is collaborating with other ministries to achieve the greater good. Not one not one ministry can do it alone. Ministries have to work together. And all these ministries, they have to have a touch of the secretariat. So that is why I am saying, even those are not directly or they are not wholesomely ours, the secretariat, but we are going to make sure we impact them immensely. This is what I am talking about. So when we have this magazine, it will help, of course. Okay, when we want to get in with the outside world, let's say, for example, we have Writers Space, we have Writers Clinic, we have the Writers Association of the Gambia. Now we can link these people and have an understanding with them, a memorandum of understanding. For example, Writers Clinic, who are professionally ready. They are capacitated to train people on professional writing. Still now we have people in the education ministry, Education Students Association and other schools in the university, people who still have problems with professional writing. There are many people who even after doing 101 and 102, English 101 and 102, they still have problems with writing letters, writing their CVs. Now we can collaborate with these people and organize a training with them. So this type of partnership will help to foster, will help to grow our capacities as education students. So this is the type of partnership I am talking about. Let's say, for example, we can have a partnership with more and more media outlets. So whatever the education students are doing, it will be seen outside. So we can write to these people and give them what we can offer them, and also what they can also offer for us. So both angles will be growing. For instance, if it is Africell or any of the GSM operators, if we want to organize a program, let's say a talent show, for instance, now we want Africell to help us with their media. Now they can give us a time on their TV, or let's say Fine TV here. They can give us time on their TV. Now we are going to promote them, because as the program is going on, we will be mentioning that this program is covered by Fine TV. So they are being covered and we are also being catered for. Let's say, for example, we have a partnership with other people outside, a printing media, who can help print our books, our magazines, and then we will have their badge or their logo on the magazines that are going out. We are preparing a market for them. So we are going to write to these people. Of course, we will write to them. Let them receive our letters. Let them receive whatever we have to offer them, and also what we expect them also to give back to us. When we reach an agreement, then we can sign the MOU, whether it's going to be 2 years, whether it's going to be, for 10 years, or whether it is going to be there indefinite until and unless something unexpected happens that can break it. But these are some of the ways we can reach out to people out there.
How do you help students who defer their semesters?
Yes.
Due to one or two reasons.
Very good. We know it happens all the time. Now, sometimes you just need a little amount of money to add on to what you have to continue your education, but you cannot. Now, if we have a partnership with organizations that can offer us, even if it is going to be every semester, they are going to give us, let's say, 60,000. We can pay 7,500 for each of these people to continue. So when they have money, they can continue with this. Or we can collaborate with the education ministry or the information ministry, the secretariat, to collaborate with these people to organize, let's say, a talent show. If we, for example, organize a drama competition, a poetry competition, whatever competition we can organize within the university students or within schools in the Gambia, this can provide revenue for us to be able to support these people with what they need. We are not saying we are going to cover everything up. That is unrealistic, because the tuition fee is very high for us to cater for them full scholarship. When I was saying this, I said semesterly. We can provide everything, but at least we can do what is possible. So we can give these people the amount that they need for the semester that is ahead of them, so they can continue. We just don't want people to break in their education. I definitely want you people to know how it feels when I was asked to defer my program, to go to the provinces, to teach there for a full year, And the only thing I got from the other people is that you have been away. That is what they are doing. Now, I want people to feel the situation of others. Just because we did not go through them, that does not mean they did not exist. So we can help. If I had support, just a little amount, let's say just 8,000 or 7,500 to pay the 40%, then before the semester ends, I will be able to cover up the remaining, and then the following semester I will be able to continue. But that little amount could not be secured, and Education Students Association were not there to help me. I do not blame them. They do not have to. But because I went through the experience, I want to make sure nobody goes through that. Anybody who needs it definitely should definitely be given the support.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid time is no more a friend to us. And then for that being the case, I'll just allow the honorable members, the great debaters who actually came to defend their policies. Like I said from the beginning, it's not one-on-one debate sort of, but then policy defending, and sometimes it may go to that extent of actually making one of the points very clear by debunking one of the points of your opponent. But then all said and done, it's basically to defend the policies. And if you want to see real debate, do not miss the convention day, which is coming up, as we'll also do the announcement later here. I have this, the IPROs here, who are also vying for the Information and Public Relations Officer position. They also come on stage to defend their policies, but that will be done after a short break. Honorable Bireso, on a final note, what do you have to tell the viewership, the Education Student Association, or the entire university, or in fact I can say the entire world that is currently viewing from this particular medium, that is Fine TV? What do you want to tell them on a final note? The qualities of Honorable Bireso that should warrant them to actually vote him into office as the Secretary General come November 15th.
Thank you, IPRO. Just one or two things before I conclude. The Secretary General, I said, is purposely for administration. Yes, no ministry can execute its activities without the intervention of the Secretary General. So other things, yeah, you intervene, but you don't initiate it. The issue of magazine, you intervene, but you don't initiate it. The issue of finance, you intervene, but you don't initiate it. I think this is where he is getting problems with trying to get phone to cope defilement, trying to create that issue of a magazine. Here you intervene, you don't create it. Okay. On a final note, I think I have told you initially that I have all it takes, and Edusans know it, to be the Secretary General of the 14th Executive Council of Edusa, inshallah. I have the administrative memory, the institutional memory. I also have the connections. I told you, when it comes to writings also, I write. You know it very well. So the writing is not my problem. It's not my problem. And I told you the Secretariat is not about creative writing. It's about professional writing. So I have the connections. I have the institutional memory. I know the problem of Edison because I have been interacting with these problems and I have been solving this. We have been solving these problems. So of course, I have all it takes, of course, to be the Secretary General. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bireso. From you, Kebais Juara. Finally, what do you have to tell the people, the viewership about you and the reason why you should be voted in as the SG?
Yes, thank you everybody for the pleasure of your time. I would keep it short. Use your conscience. What your conscience is telling you. Now, if it is about administrative strength, the administrative ability, the experience, that man you are seeing right in front of you holding the mic has that experience. I have links within the university. Of course, I have been working and I've solved some problems of some students. I have worked with them to help them with their assignments and other issues. Just because people are not seeing it on the surface, that does not mean I've not been doing it. Certain things I do for the sake of God, and that's why I would not want to explore, bring those ones out here. But of course, those people will be listening out there. They would know how the panacea has been resourceful to them. So I would just want to say, use your conscience. You people know who is the right candidate. all of you are matured, all of you know what is good for yourselves. So choose the person you think is most competent to take care of the educational, the needs of the Education Students Association. And finally, I want to say again, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen, for honoring this invitation from the Information and Communications Ministry of Edusa, which I'm actually spearheading as the IPRO, but then I have great bodies in that particular ministry who actually make it great and impact greater. So all this is an initiation from the ministry, and we thank each and every member of the council, that is the 13th Executive Council, and also we want to thank Fine TV for always giving us this platform. This is not the end of the debates. We have two great gentlemen also who will come here and then tell us what they have in store for us, why they should be voted in as the Information and Communication Minister come November 15th. We've already heard from the SG, from the Secretaries General, that is from Honorable Bireso on my right, and then from Keba S. Juara on my left, who are actually here to tell us why they should be voted in those positions come the day of election. So you've heard it yourself. You have the right to make your choice, and you have the right to come and vote on the 15th of November. So do not miss that day, and do not miss to vote for the right candidate, and as you know very well. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching. We come back after a short break and continue with Information and Communication. Thank you very much once again.